We have seen this movie in history. All of us celebrate the great civilization, for example, in Andalusia, where its golden age produced religious tolerance that the Amir even had Jewish public servant, directors general, etc., etc. Where we saw scientific flourish, we gifted the world algorithms through Al-Khwarizmi. Where we saw cultural expansion in dress and in cuisine. Where we saw knowledge unbound and people could think of whatever they wanted and produce poetry and literature of the finest kinds that the world had ever seen. And where the architecture was simply sublime and the world couldn't understand how could these Muslims invent the horseshoe arch that carries more than its own weight. And that was almost the case for 4 centuries, until a group came along that we know as the Al-Muwahhidun, or history calls the Al-Muhads. The Al-Muwahhidun styled themselves as the people who came to purify Tawheed. They came to decide who was Muslim and who was not Muslim. And so they came, and they came there with, for example, the Zahiri madhab, and started destroying other madhabs, like, for example, the Maliki madhab. Not only did they ban their books and their kitabs, they burnt their books and their kitabs and reserved for themselves the rights to decide who were Muslims and who were not. And then they turned against the Christians and the Jews of Andalusia, making the Jews either convert or die. And Christians had to wear particular dress so that they could always be identified and mocked. And what they did, they united a diverse and divided and different Christian world, and they all came together and they said, we must get rid of these Muslims. And at the battle of Las Neivas de Tolosa, or Al-Uqab in Arabic, on the 16th of July 2012, they defeated the Al-Muwahhidun armies. And within 40 years, the Muslims lost Cordoba and Sevilla. And 1492, we were expelled along with the Jews from Andalusia. The question is, were we murdered or did we commit suicide? That's the fundamental question. There may have been a foreign knife in us in 1492, but the suicide started with those who called themselves the custodians of Tawheed. And that was the age of conviviality. And from that moment, we have always been the perpetual other. And that memory of the Al-Muwahhidun lies in the head of every non-Muslim civilization ever since that Islam is a threat. Their rhetoric is profound, that the Haramain is in danger, that Islam is being taken over, and we must not fall for that. And they are utilizing the language of intellectual and theological terror on us. When they don't understand or like something, it's either kufr, bid'ah, or shirk. And we must be very careful with those words.